My project is a comic book about the American Revolution called American Revolution number 9. I wanted to get the grad standard for American history, so I talked to my advisor and he recommended that I would do it in a more creative way than a research paper because I'm used to doing research papers for history class. I thought a comic book would be an interesting way to do it because I had read the cartoon history of the universe, and I thought that was a really good way of learning history, and it was interesting too, so I thought that I would do that with an American history project. Well, when I was doing this project, first I wrote a brainstorm sheet that's just general overview of what we're going to be studying. You show that to your parents and they have to initial it to make sure they're okay with it, and you show it to your advisor, and you go over it with your advisor and they give you suggestions for what you should do. And then they initial it. So you do a project proposal, which is like a brainstorm but more in depth, and then you submit it to an advisor or two advisors. You go over it with your advisor and another advisor. You do a project rubric, like what you need to do to get an A, B, C. Then you go ahead and start the project. Well, I did a lot of research. I checked out a lot of books like People's History of the United States, other books. I read Common Sense. I looked at the Declaration of Independence. I looked at A People's History of the American Revolution by Ray Raphael. I used a lot of different websites for short biographies of different people, pictures, stuff like that. And then I wrote little captions for each picture. I looked at like layout for it. Then I glued it all in and drew pictures. Well, I mean, research skills, because I did a lot of research. I also had to learn how to make a really broad subject. I had to put that into concise words. Like, I mean, I wrote a comic book about the American Revolution in 3 or 4 pages. I had to draw, so I guess art skills, like layout making skills, because I had to lay it out. I mean, actually it was the hardest part, figuring out how to put the pictures with the words. Before I did this project, I didn't really like American history. I thought it was kind of boring. But doing this made me realize that the people that changed our country were actually real people with like good ideas. I mean, they were being oppressed and they just rose up and said, no way, we're not going to take it, and changed their country completely. And I mean, it was just a few people based on like certain documents, like Common Sense, that influenced like thousands of people, and they just said, we're not going to take it, and changed their country. I mean, we had a monarchy and now we have a democracy. That's just totally revolutionary. Probably that individuals can change the world and that history is applicable to today's life. I mean, it's not just some people that did stuff, it's people that changed our lives. I mean, our lives would be totally different if history hadn't happened. Also, we can change the future, so we'll be history, I guess. Well, in a traditional school, you're kind of rushing to keep up with the curriculum. Like, you'll have certain things you have to study, so you'll be rushing over topics, not being able to study them in depth. With project-based learning, you can study things as in depth as you want or as not in depth as you want. So, like, if you want to focus on something and really learn about it, you can. Whereas in a traditional school, you're going to have to go faster through everything. You're not going to be able to learn anything really in depth or get the ideas from it.